this is something I've wanted to talk about since the Black Flag remake was revealed, and I've seen no one else talk about this. And that's the possibility of an Assassin's Creed Rogue remake. If you didn't know, Rogue is an Assassin's Creed game that would Rogue is a game that would benefit so much from a remake. And that's because Rogue didn't get the focus it should have had back in 2014 to 2015. It was always in the shadow of Unity when it came out. And Black Flag, it was also known as a Black Flag clone. But not in a good way. It also had only 7 to 8 months of development time, which for an Assassin's Creed game is very little, not even 1 year. Ubisoft Sofia were given no time to develop the game, and I believe if they were given proper time to develop it, they could have made one of the best Assassin's Creed games we've ever seen. Just think about it, an Assassin's Creed game where you play as a Templar. A remake for this game could have been, to make this the game it could have been all those years ago. But a remake, I'm not here thinking because I know it's going to be challenging. If making a Rogue remake is not like making a Black Flag remake. If they remake Rogue, they will have to do more work because the problem with Rogue was that it was too short. If the remake, it would work more. Their main focus should be to add more to the story and gameplay, but specifically the story. They don't have to add new side quests like they're doing with the Black Flag remake, because expanding the story should be their sole focus. And I believe they should take notes off of the Black Flag remake when it comes out. They can learn and expand on the Black Flag remake combat. In Rogue, they can add, or they can just expand on the sole weapon type. They can either add more weapons and, kind of like what the last RPG games have been doing, or they could, like I said, just expand on the only weapons you have in that game, which are the sword and dagger. Because I don't think they'll be allowed to pick up weapons, because the Black Flag remake isn't going to allow them to pick up weapons. But we just have to wait and see how the combat is received when Black Flag, the remake, comes out. But I want to talk about this. No one's been talking about this. A Rogue remake would be beneficial. It's not like it would be really beneficial. Now, I'm no hardcore guy. I don't know what they should change. I'm just a regular guy who wants to talk about this. And if I were to do this, their main focus should be expanding the story, because the story is really short. They also, the devs, Ubisoft Sofia, have said that they weren't given enough time and they wanted the story. They had bigger plans for the story. Shay you would have had more time as being an assassin before you turned into a Templar. And the problem was that it was too much like Black Flag. Black Flag is a really good game, but it didn't, because of that, Rogue was always considered Black Flag but worse, or downgraded Black Flag. And Black Flag, if they were to remake it, if they were to remake Rogue, they should give it its own identity, considering you're not playing as an assassin this time, you're playing as a Templar. Granted, you are playing as a Templar who was trained as an assassin. But they need to give the game identity. The problem with Rogue was, besides being a Templar, it didn't have much identity. It was, like I said, just Black Flag, but downgraded. And that's not good. It needs to have its own identity with the animations and all that. And I'm no dev, so I don't know what they could do, but if they were to make a remake, they shouldn't focus on side quests. They shouldn't focus on making new side quests like what they're doing with Black Flag. Black Flag, it can do new side quests because it didn't have problem with the story that much, besides the animus. But the reason they're adding side quests to Black Flag is because they're adding an extra sequence to Black Flag in the remake. Do that, but for Rogue, and make that sole purpose be Rogue's combat. Or sorry, story. Because most of the stuff was good. They should honestly change a couple of things though, because, you know, if they did release it as a remake, it would be considered similar to Black Flag. So they do need to change some stuff. Like, it would be a complete overhaul of the original game. Different side activities. They could keep some of the side activities, but the main focus should be their story and the gameplay. And that should be their sole focus. They can keep most of the side activities, but they need to give Rogue a second chance, because Rogue, I don't know why they decided to make Rogue in the first place. They should have waited until maybe after Unity, or they should have, I've heard other YouTubers say this, delay Unity and work on Rogue a little longer for it to come out. That would have worked well. So here, now that we're in the era of Assassin's Creed where we're having remakes, we have a Black Flag remake coming out in like a month, and a rumor it's leaked that they're working on another Assassin's Creed remake, which is most likely AC1. But besides AC1 and maybe the Ezio trilogy, depends on how you view the Ezio trilogy, Rogue is the game that honestly needs a remake the most. And AC1 obviously is the game that needs a remake the most. But besides AC1 and maybe the Ezio trilogy, Rogue would be up there. I don't really think we need an AC3 remake, maybe, but that'd be like a later down the line, a couple years. But if they are going the way of doing an AC1 remake, then I think after AC1, if they do make a remake of it, they should focus on AC Rogue Remake, because that would be a good game for them to remake. And I don't they might not believe it, but it would make them a lot of money. It would, especially on how Black Flag is going to come out. If the remake is really good, Assassin's Creed can be back on top, and Rogue, it would definitely help all their games. So I'm here talking, I'm not asking for likes or for subscribes. I'm asking that you guys can spread the word about this, because we need people to talk about this game. The more and more people talk about Rogue and a potential Rogue remake, the more likely we have to talk about it. I've seen no other person talk about this, and I really think we need to do this, because a Rogue remake would be great. So I'm asking if we can, Twitter, TikTok, YouTube Shorts, everyone could talk about it themselves, pitch their own ideas on how to work on a remake. But I believe if enough people talk about it, and maybe we could hopefully get a big YouTuber like Master Assassin or The Hidden One and many other YouTubers, if we can get them to talk about that, because they are Ubisoft partners, or Ubisoft I don't know how to explain it, but if we can get those big YouTubers or more people to talk about this game, I believe it could happen, and it could be great. And if it were to happen, this would open the door to many other opportunities, like an Arno, Connor, Shay, and Avalon sequel, where Arno hunts Shay. And I don't want to go far into that, because this is just for an AC Rogue remake. But if this happens, this can open the door, so many doors. And that's what I'm hoping. That's all I wanted to say. So I hope you guys share this, or just talk about it in your own TikTok, tweets, YouTube Shorts, anything. We just need more people to talk about this game. And I hope it works out, and I hope it happens, because Rogue is a game that I genuinely actually love and think it would benefit so much. Anyways, thank you for watching. See ya.